Hi guys, hello and welcome to my reaction to geography now Costa Rica. Costa Rica seems to be an interesting country in Central America. No army. They got rid of the army in, I'm not sure when exactly, but 10, 20 years ago or so. Maybe I'm also a bit wrong here, but there's no army right now. So that's great. It's a very big plus point, kind of. Also, they practice neutrality in conflicts in South America and also, I think, globally. But yeah, that's amazing. I like this very much. So, and also I read some news today just before recording this here. So about Costa Rica and news, and I found out that Spain defeated Costa Rica in the Women World Cup. I'm not so interested in sport, but yeah, so be it. And yes, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and we will just get right into the video right now. And please subscribe and like this video and help me to reach more subscribers, and maybe 700 and maybe 1000 at some point even. And yeah, let's start. Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, Costa Rica. Go ahead and take a peek. Lush and green and quite unique. Costa Rica, Costa Rica. That's my poem. I hope you liked it.
It wasn't. It was okay.
It's time to learn geography.
Now! Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbie. Finally, we are out of Africa and back on the other side of the globe. Get ready for a place where a guy can do this to a crocodile.
And also, Costa Rica seems, for me, also kind of interesting, and maybe I will at some point visit the country. I even thought about maybe I thought about the option of living there, maybe with my girlfriend, because she's from the Philippines, and maybe I also want to live somewhere else. I live right now in Germany, but yeah, let's see. Costa Rica, no army, plus point, and neutrality, another plus point. So, compared to Germany, army and member of NATO, this is way better. And the living standards are also quite decent for the region, I think. So, yeah, let's see. And they speak Spanish, and the language my girlfriend speaks is similar to Spanish in some ways. Cebuano and Tagalog. I have some. I mean, they're of course their own languages, of course, but they are similar to English, or have words from English and also words from Spain, and so they have got both these languages and other languages on the Philippines got influence from English and Spanish, and some even from Chinese, I think, but I'm not mistaken. But let's continue.
Let's jump into the flag. Here's where things get a little tricky because Costa Rica is one of those countries that interchangeably uses both the official and simplified variant of their flags. The simplified version does not have a coat of arms and is just a banner with 5 bands. 2 blue bands, one on top, one on the bottom, 2 whites under the blues, and a double width band of red in the center. Side note, do not get the simplified version of the flag confused with the flag of Thailand.
They look similar. The red is okay. It's not blue at the edge, but red, and both right. And then here it is like the inverted version of it, kind of, where blue and red are exchanged, and also a different blue and a different red.
If we were to include the coat of arms is a golden frame containing an illustrated veneer with 2 banners above it saying America Central and the República de Costa Rica. You don't need to speak Spanish to know what those mean. The image contains 7 stars in the sky representing the 7 provinces. Below are 3 volcanoes with cute puffs of smoke coming out of them representing the 3 mountain chains of the country. Engulfing the volcanoes are oceans on either side indicating the bi-coastal position of the country, with merchant ships that even have miniature Costa Rican flags, making Costa Rica once again one of the only few countries with a flag of their flag in their flag. I know, in the Afghanistan video I said there were only 2 countries that had that. Look, it was my first episode, I was a little nervous, I
haven't reacted to the Afghanistan episode, I think. It was his first video. It was very short at the time. I mean, later the videos became longer and longer. That's why some people always say that he should repeat some of the earlier episodes, like for example Brazil, which was also very short in comparison to the country and its history and so on. I'm not sure if he will do it. Maybe he will do some of them again. I'm not sure. But yeah, let's see what he will do after he is done with Zimbabwe.
Get everything right. I was super awkward.
Paul, let's show him a clip.
No. Which, by the way, makes Afghanistan one of the only 2 countries in the world that has a flag with miniature versions of its own flag on its own flag. Oh, it was so bad. All right, let's move on. Costa Rica, translated to the rich coast, and quite frankly, unlike some places, this
I like this with the flag on the flag. I mean the mini flags on the flag in the coat of arms. It's funny. Can you not subscribe when you see this cute eyes? Please do. Do subscribe.
country actually does live up to that name. Côte d'Ivoire, ces plages semblent belles, mais ils ne sont pas faits d'ivoire. 조선 민주주의 인민공 한국 민주주의 북한 진짜? 에이씨, 그래서 네가 원하면. Anyway, Costa Rica is located in the southern portion of the Central American.
I first didn't understood the Korean or the Spanish part. I could have maybe understand, but I didn't.
Isthmus that connects North America to South America, bordered by Nicaragua in the northwest and Panama in the southeast. Like most Central American countries except Belize and El Salvador, the country has 2 convenient coasts on the Caribbean Sea and the Pacific Ocean. From a distance, you would think Costa Rica borders Lake Nicaragua, but Nicaragua was like, nope, I am literally claiming the entire border around the lake and calling it mine, even if I have to draw a narrow 2-mile wide corridor around the south rim. Speaking of which, Costa Rica and Nicaragua had a short dispute over this incredibly small island off the San Juan River, and it ended up going to the international court. The country is divided into 7 provinces, with the capital San Jose located inland in the San Jose province and acts as both a provincial and national capital of the country. Speaking of which, writing a letter or postcard to Costa Rica can be quite the funny ordeal. Many houses don't even have numbers, so you have to locate them by landmark or numerical position, such as 3rd house on the left or behind the gas station by the mango tree. That can literally count as an address. The country has 2 hook-shaped peninsulas on the Pacific, creating the Gulf of
I think this is similar also in Nicaragua. I watched the Nicaragua episode already and also made a reaction to it. You can find it on my channel, it's the playlist. And I think he also mentioned something similar like this in the Nicaragua episode. Interesting.
Nicoya and the Pavon Bay, ending with the tail of Costa Rica on the shared peninsula with Panama in the Punta Arenas province. Speaking of which, some people will say that the shape of Costa Rica resembles a crab, but I personally think it looks more like a deformed bull with severe scoliosis.
I like when he mentioned this always said, you know, it looks more like, I mean, his own interpretation. Also in the French episode, it was a teacup with foot or so, and it looks funny. It's funny. I mean, I can see it, yeah. But to have these ideas is very interesting.
Leaping into freedom. The country has over 30 main islands and hundreds upon hundreds of small islets and rocks, mostly off the coast. However, the most notable island would have to be the Cocos Island, the furthest off claim that Costa Rica inhabits, located about 555 kilometers southwest off the coast in the Pacific. If you want to check out this place, you will literally only be allotted a few hours during the daytime, and then you got to get out. The biggest reason for this tight restrictive policy is partially for the protection of the high concentration of endemic flora and fauna, but also it's rumored that this place may also be the site of various pirate treasure. Historically, Costa Rica kind of had to gain independence like 3 times, once from Spain, once from the Mexican Empire, which is a whole other crazy story, and finally one last time from the Federal Republic of Central America, in which all these countries used to be one country for like 20 years. Well, kind of. There was this one short-lived country that never quite made it and got absorbed into Guatemala and Mexico. Rest in peace, Los Altos. Also, there's those cool-looking petrospheres created by the Discus people from long ago that archaeologists don't quite know the significance of. Okay, let's move on.
The South American or Central American Union sounds very interesting. I mean, there are probably good reasons why it didn't last, but I mean, it would be funny to have something like this again. I always like unions. That's why I also like the East African Federation, a combination of countries from Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and I think that was everyone. Some maybe also Ethiopia will join at some point, or other countries also may join, but the East African community in the moment is just consists out of these countries, I think. And I like this. I like the idea. It's already in progress or in They talk now for over 20 years or so, and prepare for this union to exist at some point. And I am a really big fan of this. I like this. Of course, it not always work, and it always also depends on what they are doing. In a union itself is not always good, but it depends, of course, on how the country looks like they form, if they form a country. But let's see.
Okay, so we've discussed the Costa part of the country. Now let's talk a little bit more about the Rica. Costa Rica will blow your mind not only in the flora and fauna composition, but also the nationally administered policies that facilitate the environmental makeup of the country. Last year, they even upgraded the banknotes to depict some of the biodiversity you can find there, and it looks freaking seizure-rific, crazy, insane balls, beautiful.
This looks very beautiful. that's
Freaktastical. In short, Costa Rica
the idea is awesome, and the results is also beautiful.
Is rich in biodiversity, so much to the point where even though the country makes up less than half of 1% of the Earth's landmass, it hosts over 5% of the entire world's biodiversity. They take their jungles seriously. About a quarter of the entire country is made up of protected national parks, the highest percentage of any country in the world, and in recent years, they've had successfully managed to lower the deforestation to almost zero. On top of that, Costa Rica has set a goal to become the first...
It's also awesome. I mean, zero deforestation, that's amazing, and let's see what he'll mention now.
Carbon neutral country
in 2021. I mean, it's already 2023, so maybe they already have reached this goal, and it's amazing. I like it very much. Carbon neutrality, that's also nice. Even more reasons to maybe move there one day. But there are, of course, many things to consider. It's not easy to move somewhere else, and it's not even something so desirable. While editing the video, I thought about I mean, it is still of course I like the country very much, but the biodiversity is a big minus point as well for me personally, when it's about moving there or living there, because I don't like really much all this insects, and like I'm not sure if this animals also exist, lizards. When I was in Vietnam last time, I mean, when my girlfriend was still living in Vietnam, I mean, she has not moved. She still lives there, but she's not my girlfriend anymore. And I have now a girlfriend in the Philippines. But when I was there last time, there was a lizard, and in my hotel room, and I really didn't like this. So being so close to the jungle, and so that's also a big minus point. I have to consider that as well, of course, but it's still an amazing country. I like it very much. I'm halfway through editing this video, and I will also upload it today. And please subscribe and like this video, and recommend me also some other videos you want me to watch maybe in the future. Whether now it's about the country, about anything else in the world. Sports not really my thing, but you can still recommend me something about sports. But yeah, I would like to watch more videos about meme collections. If you have then good websites to take a look at these memes, or have some nice videos about this, tell me in the comments. Otherwise, continue with the video. I mean, many things sound nice there, but maybe there are also some bad things happening. I'm not sure. Let's continue to watch this video.
The world by 2021.
But in the Bhutan video, didn't you say...
Yes, I know what you're thinking, and yes, I know in the Bhutan video I said that Bhutan was a carbon sink nation, but there's a difference between a carbon sink and a carbon neutral country. In a nutshell, one absorbs but can still produce carbon, and the other one produces none. Got it? Good. On top of that, Costa Rica effectively banned recreational hunting, although once every so often you get a few underground perpetrators. And on top of that, the country has already achieved around 95 to 99% renewable energy, 80% of which is produced by hydropower. Crazy, right? Costa Rica's landscape is speckled with over 120 volcanic formations, 7 of which are still active, including the Polis volcano, which has one of the widest craters in the world. Because of all the environmentally conscious actions Costa Rica has taken, the tourism industry has exploded in the past few decades, and with a nearly $2 billion yearly input, Costa Rica is the most visited country in Central America. It's actually kind of funny how the population shifted industries so rapidly. The people here are quite innovative. And it all had to kind of do with what they did after their third independence. Let's discuss that in...
I think it is they declared themselves a neutral country, don't participate in any conflicts, and
Okay, so to kind of get things straight, technically you can refer to someone in Costa Rica as a Costa Rican. However, it's also acceptable to call them either a tico for men or a tica for women. First off, the country has about 4.8 million people and is one of the most politically stable countries in Latin America. When it comes to ethnic makeup, things get a little interesting because they have three categories for Caucasian: the whites, the mestizo, and the castizo, which are like a mixture between whites and mestizos. Still following me? Anyway, altogether, the three Caucasian groups make up about 84% of the population. Mulattoes, or half-blacks, make up about 7%, about 3% are Amerindian, 1% black, and the remainder are a mixture of races like Asians, Middle Easterners, and so on. Although the line is a little debatable, with a history of extensive European immigration from places like Germany, England, and the Netherlands, France, and Ireland, in general, Costa Rica is one of the wider Latin American countries.
Why do you have to label people by race?
Because it's a thing people have and it's...
Yeah, that's a good question. Very good question. I let this question be asked again because I always ask this myself every time in every episode I react to here in this on this channel. I like him very much. He makes great videos, but I always ask myself also, why does he mention this ethnicity stuff? It doesn't matter. Who cares? But yeah, let's the big moment, her big moment.
wider Latin American countries.
Why do
She is totally right. Yeah.
you have to label people by race?
Because it's a thing people have and is not necessarily bad to identify with. The Amerindian population are mostly derived.
It's not maybe bad to identify yourself with a certain race, but it doesn't make any sense to extra mention this obvious. I mean, hi guys, here I'm back again. I thought I would not need to make another small video. I'm editing this video, but I have to. I mean, I don't understand why he's always mentioning this with ethnicity. Where's a big difference between someone from the Middle East, like for example Syria, and Greece? Why do you call the one maybe right, or Italy maybe, and others you call Middle Eastern? I mean, or then in the other direction, India, where you call them an Indian person, gives them a different ethnicity than the one in Syria. I mean, also Hassan Albert talked about this at some point, and he said also that some people regard him not to be right, and rightness is used there in some circles in the United States and historically as to exclude other people. So in the earlier years of the United States, some politician also called, for example, according to Hassan Abi, Irish people not right, or German people not right. So rightness is in this case you just be used to exclude other people and to create differences where there are no differences. And of course he doesn't mean when he talks about white people and so like this. And but I don't understand why you have to make differences between the people in the world through ethnicity. I mean, why should I, for example, make a DNA test and find out that people from 4 or 5 generations in my family came from Russia, or from France, or from Africa? I don't know. At some point we all came from Africa, so but why should this be in any way interesting to me? I mean, I don't understand why Americans. I think really it's a very American thing to think about ethnicity, to talk about ethnicity, to put people into different categories according to their I don't know, ethnicity. I mean, what is the difference? Is it just a skin color which makes a difference, or which decides whether you are now white, Caucasian, African, Middle Eastern, or whatever else, mestizos, or some other labels he already used? I mean, what is the deciding factor to decide whether a human is mestizo or right, or is it the family backgrounds and where they come from? Um, is it the skin color, the hair color? I don't understand. It's weird. But yeah, maybe some of you guys, whether people know from the United States of America, because I talked about a lot, or people from Costa Rica or other countries in the world. If you have an answer to this, if you know, if you can help me, please do so. Yeah, I think it's weird. But anyway, I really like these videos, always very much so. It's not a reason not to like these videos. It's just a question for you guys to help me with.
From the 8 ethnic groups that inhabit secluded reservations, mostly along the central and southeastern regions of the country along the border of Panama. A large portion of the black population lives along the Caribbean coast and are English or patois speaking descendants of Jamaican and Caribbean immigrants that came in the 19th century. That's the other thing. Yes, Spanish is the official language, but because of the booming tourism sector, especially with the United States, Costa Ricans have one of the highest English proficiencies in Latin America. About 1 out of every 9 adults speaks English fluently enough to hold a general conversation, whereas others can somewhat get the point across. Nonetheless, Costa Rica definitely sets itself apart when it comes to Spanish vernacular. They have their own distinct twang that any Latino would be able to distinguish. 2 words you will most likely find only in Costa Rica are pura vida and mae. Pura vida literally translates to pure life, but is commonly used as a greeting somewhat along the lines of what's up, whereas mae is kind of like buddy or dude. So if you hear someone saying pura vida mae, chances are you may have just witnessed your first Costa Rican. They also have a ton of other words like tuanis, brete, and menudo, which is not this, but we don't have time to get into that. Quick little side note, do not be alarmed if you witness people all over the country walking around carrying machetes. Machetes are a nationwide multi-tool used for everything. It's like the Costa Rican equivalent to duct tape. One thing that really makes Costa Rica stick out like a sore thumb, though, is the fact that they've pretty much avoided general conflict for over 6 decades. The last war they were in was a civil war that ended with them disbanding the entire military in 1948. Although, of course, they still have...
1948, wow! It's 60 years without an official army. That's amazing. I like it. Yeah, they have still police forces and so, but it's a good step into the right direction.
Police force and special forces and commando units. Still, Costa Rica is the largest country in the world to have absolutely no military forces. The military budget was then allocated to the country's education.
This is so amazing. If other countries, like for example the United States or Germany, would do this, so much more money would be there for public transportation, for education, for many more things which also desperately need money. Yeah, would be amazing.
And health services, which to no surprise is why Costa Rica has some of the highest education and literacy rates, as well as life expectancy in Latin America, and has adopted a diplomatic neutrality stance in their foreign policy that allows them to intercede well with other neighbors. In 1987, former President Oscar Arias Sanchez was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts to eliminate armed conflict in Central America. So they have mountains, remain neutral, have a service-driven economy, are pretty much economically and...
Maybe he will say it now as well, but I say it before he said it. Also, I read about this on the Wikipedia page from Costa Rica. That they are kind of the Switzerland of South America or Central America.
They're politically stable. Hey, it's kind of like they're the Switzerland of...
Don't say that!
Oh, let's talk about their...
So it's not something people like to hear. I don't see any issue with this. If every country would be neutral in the foreign policy, there would not be any wars. So I think it's a good thing. I wish Germany would be neutral.
Costa Rica knows how to get along with people. Most.
And would have no army, and so it would be amazing.
They have relations with so many countries in every region of the world, and especially in the Latin world, as they try to act neutral and oftentimes as a diplomatic intercessor for conflicts in the area. First off, have you ever had a cousin that totally looks like you and could be mistaken for your twin? Well, that's kind of like what Panama is. Even though the two have been incredibly close, they did grow up in different households, but nonetheless, they kind of acted as like the links between North and South America. Both countries have developed the same affinity for the US over time, and especially in the 80s when tourists started flocking in by the herds. Nicaragua is probably Costa Rica's biggest competitor. However, even even after the island dispute drama, they still kind of get along. Soccer matches get pretty heated though. Costa Rica also recognizes Kosovo as a state, which doesn't sit well with Serbia. Mexico is kind of like the older brother that is like really a lot older. Like the parents had him decades before you were born, and by the time you came out, he kind of already had his own family. When it comes to their best friends, however, Costa Rica would probably say the US. The US is their largest business partner. Half of all imports and exports and tourism come from the US, and 2/3 of its overall foreign investment. Politically, they even follow the same checks and balances format of the US federal government. Nonetheless, China just kind of stepped in and was like, hey, can I build you guys a stadium? In conclusion, Costa Rica is like the pacifist nature guy in Central America who just wants you to zip line through his jungles, chill out on the beach, and not fight with him. Please, just don't fight with him. Stay tuned, Croatia is coming up next. Hey, Geography peeps, say hi to Vincent. I'll let him speak for himself.
Hello, I'm Vincent from the Netherlands. I've been working with Paul for the last 2 months on his channel. It's been a lot of fun. I really love making stuff for him, and like, you know, putting eyeballs in countries and giving him thumbs, and it's just the magic of graphic design. They can't do that. But I did make today's intros. I hope you enjoy him. You're gonna be seeing him a lot. All right. Well, have a good one. Enjoy the show.
I think he worked with him earlier, and later they stopped working together or so, but he was also then back at some point in one episode, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, I really enjoyed this video very much. It was awesome. I will upload it today. And so you already know when I record this, and the day you see it also on YouTube. Yes, interesting country. I like it that they are neutral. I like it that they have no army. I wish more countries would be like this. I don't have anything more to say about this. Have a good day.